Good morning students. In the last session we have seen the nutrition in plants and the process of photosynthesis. Now we will start that which are the requirements are there that is needed to complete the process of photosynthesis. So here you can see in this figure that as the light energy comes and falls on the green parts of the leaves which contains chlorophyll. Here what happens, this chlorophyll as a result converts this light energy into the chemical energy with the use of carbon dioxide and water, and finally glucose is formed and oxygen is released. So this we have seen in the equation of photosynthesis. Now we will see where this chlorophyll it is present and how are the stomata they are helpful in the process of photosynthesis. So here what is chlorophyll? They are the green pigments present in the leaves. If we observe a cross section of a leaf under a microscope, we can see cells containing green dot-like structure called chloroplast which contain chlorophyll. So here you can observe the cross section of the leaf. If we take each and every particular cell and if we enlarge the view, so here is the view, that is how the particular each cell looks like, and here the chloroplast it is present. Now what is this chloroplast? It is the cell organelle which contains the chlorophyll pigment. Here the stomata are shown and here the chloroplast structure. Now we will see and study one by one each of this structure. Now this you can see the guard cell here with chloroplast are present. Here the two types of cells are present, that is the palisade mesophyll and the spongy mesophyll. Students please note, palisade mesophyll they have the elongated type of cells and spongy mesophyll they have the particular spherical type of cells. Here the S space is present, upper epidermis and lower epidermis. So this is the particular cross section of the leaf that is shown. Upper epidermis, that is the upper part, and lower epidermis, that is the back portion of the leaf. Now here you can observe the particular cell view that is in the enlarged condition. The chloroplast here that is shown and that contains the chlorophyll, this green pigment. Here the cytoplasm is there, nucleus, vacuole, cell membrane, and the cell wall which is made up of cellulose. Here the chloroplast structure is there. Now the chloroplast structure has two membrane, outer membrane and inner membrane. Between this membrane there is a space and that is known as intermembrane space. Within the chloroplast also, that is, it is divided into two regions. One region is known as granum and the second region is known as stroma. Granum that contains stack pile of thylakoids, and stroma, that is the region without the granum, that is this yellow part, is known as stroma. Here in the granum the light reaction takes place and here in the stroma the dark reaction takes place. This is the stomata structure it is shown, which allows carbon dioxide to enter a leaf and the water vapor to leave. Here the stoma you can see the guard cells, water vapor that is leaving, high CO2 concentration, low CO2 concentration it is seen in this diagram. Now what are the stomata? They are tiny pores present in the leaves through which exchange of gases takes place. Exchange of gases means the intake of CO2 and the release of O2, that is known as exchange of gases. Each stoma has a pair of guard cells which controls the opening and closing of stomatal pore. When water enters the guard cell, it swells and the pore opens, and when the guard cells lose water, it shrinks and pore closes. So students, here you can see the structure of the stomata. Here the pore is there, that is known as the stomatal pore. Here the surrounding the pore, that is the guard cells are there, and here surrounding the guard cell the epidermal cell is there. This photograph is you can observe in the microscope view. Here the original structure of the guard cell it is shown. Whenever you take the TS section of the, or you can take the transparent epidermal peel of the leaf, then you can observe such stomata structure. This is the proper view, enlarged view of the stomata. This is stomatal pore, and here surrounding it light green color, that is the guard cells are there. Here enlarged view of the stomata, that is in two conditions. This is open condition and this is closed condition. Now stomata, when it gets open and when it gets closed. It gets open whenever the water enters into the guard cells. Now students, please note, as the water is absorbed by the plants, it enters to the green part of the leaf, and in the green part the stomata are present. The stomata help in the exchange of gases. So here these guard cells, they are in swollen structure due to the absorption of water, as H2O it is moving inside. So as a result, what happens, this stomatal pore gets open. This condition is known as the turgid condition, and whenever there is loss of water is there, or we can say there shortage of water is there, or the guard cell loses the water, that is H2O it is moving out, then in that case what happens, this stomatal pore gets closed. This generally happens in hot and dry days whenever the guard cells lose water, and as a result the stomatal pore gets closed. Now there is two activities are there by which we can conclude that chlorophyll and carbon dioxide are necessary for the process of photosynthesis. So first activity is to show that chlorophyll is necessary for photosynthesis. Means without chlorophyll the process of photosynthesis cannot be completed. This activity shows. Now what we have to do in this activity, you have to take a potted plant having variegated leaves, for example croton plant. Now variegated leaves means it is having the irregular pattern, that is one part is green and one part is lighter in color. That kind of plants are known, the plants which contain such type of leaves, they are known as the variegated leaves. Keep it in a dark room for 3 days so that all the starch it is used up. Then after that keep it the same plant for the 6 hours. Now take a leaf from the plant and mark the green areas of the leaf on a sheet of paper. Then dip that same leaf in boiling water to make it soft. Then dip the leaf in the alcohol and heat it in a water bath to decolorize it and remove the chlorophyll. Now wash the leaf in water and dip it in dilute iodine solution. It will be seen that only the green parts of the leaf turns blue-black. This shows that chlorophyll is necessary for photosynthesis. So by this activity it is concluded that only chlorophyll is necessary for the process of photosynthesis. If it is absent, then the process is not completed. Next requirement and next activity to show that carbon dioxide is also necessary for the process of photosynthesis. For this we have to take two potted plants of the same size and keep them in a dark room for 3 days, so that all the starch is used up. Then keep the plants on separate glass plates. Keep a watch glass containing some potassium hydroxide, that is KOH, near one plant to absorb carbon dioxide. Students, please note, the potassium hydroxide has a capacity to absorb the carbon dioxide. Cover both the plants with bell jars and seal the bottom of the jars with Vaseline to make it airtight. Now keep the plants in sunlight for about 3 hours. Then take a leaf from each of the plant, that is both the potted plant, and test for starch. The leaf of the plant kept in the jar containing potassium hydroxide does not show the presence of starch, means the test was negative. This shows that CO2 or the carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis. So by this activity and the previous activity, it is concluded that chlorophyll and carbon dioxide are must for the process of photosynthesis. I hope students these two activities and the chlorophyll structure, where it is present, and the stomata structure is clear to you all. If you have doubt, please post in the Octopod. You have the software, so please post it in it.